So the last 3 weeks of the Wednesday Night Wars, NXT, AEW's been dominating, when I say dominating, I mean they've won the vast majority of the ratings war between AEW Dynamite Wednesday and WWE NXT on Wednesday. However, the last 3 weeks, NXT has won the overall numbers, matchup, of course, and AEW has kind of looked petty. But now, why do I say they look kind of petty? Because the last couple of weeks on Twitter, on social media, both Chris Jericho and the owner of AEW, Tony Khan, who's also family owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has all of a sudden started to defend the fact that even though they lost the last 3 weeks, they're still winning the 18 to 49 demo. The important demo. Now, let me be clear. I think it's very important to win those demos because obviously there's a lot of marketing involved in that and whatnot. So I'm not saying they're wrong for feeling the way they feel and say what they're saying. But it's funny. They were never saying this when they were beating NXT in the overall numbers. And by the way, AEW has won that demo in these 3 weeks, for the record. So, and which they're now pointing out to us. But when AEW was winning the ratings war every week, no one ever mentioned the demo. I mean, when I say no, I mean like no one of significance, like Chris Jericho or Tony Khan, or anybody for that matter, who's a top level personality or player at AEW. All of a sudden, they're starting to make that point. Oh, it's important, this and that. And Chris Jericho is going at it with fans and whatnot. And I even tweeted at Jericho and Khan, and I said, listen, I'm an AEW diehard. I love your product. I actually prefer that over anything WWE is doing right now. I love NXT, and Raw, SmackDown is night and day. Sometimes it depends on the night how I'm feeling. But I love AEW. I am a diehard. I have not missed an episode of Dynamite since it debuted in October. At all. I haven't missed an episode at all. However, you come off looking petty and stupid. Okay? Just let it lie. Okay, you lost a couple weeks, and by the way, you lost the last couple weeks, but it was not you lost by big amounts. Like you were nip and tuck with NXT. You were still getting good numbers in comparison. And when you were beating NXT those other 30-something weeks, you were pretty dominant in those in most of those encounters. So yeah, NXT had a good couple weeks. They've had some big matches too. To be honest with you, that Keith Lee Adam Cole match was a big deal. Even though the results leaked out a week before that, it was still a big deal. But you come off looking petty. Like you really do you look really petty. Tony Khan sitting there defending it. Like when you have to go out of your way to defend something, that you weren't defending for the first 40-something weeks, whatever, you look kind of sad. And Chris Jericho, I mean, I don't know. This is the thing where are you that much in a bubble where you don't get the dose of reality? How you look, how the optics look by you doing this? It's weird. It's really weird. And look, I think AEW will end up winning the demo, end up winning not just this demo this week, but they'll win the overall ratings war this week. And, people say, well, who gives a fuck what ratings war? And for the record, back in 1998, 99, at the height of the Monday Night Wars, no one gave a shit about the demos. I mean, certainly the numbers were much higher. Like, it was like Raw getting 4.4, Nitro getting 4.8, or even in 99, it was like in the 6s. So it's like you're arguing over scraps, really, be honest, in comparison. Now, granted that the industry has changed in the last 20-something years. The way we intake television has changed in the last 20-something years. So I'm not going to knock AEW NXT for that. But when you start coming out with that bullshit, like NXT didn't say anything. When they were losing to AEW every week, they weren't saying anything.